Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to A Life of Simple Joy with Jean Ann Duckworth. A Life of Simple Joy is brought to you by Devotions to Go, spiritual fast food for women on the go. Now, here's Jean Ann.
Is this thing on? Hello, hello, hello. Whoa. Yeah, I'm wound up a little this morning. I play with the chair again. I think I get it just right. And then I scooch in and I start bumping my legs and don't like that so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Or good afternoon, depending on where you are. As Mr. Diva told you at the top of the show, I am indeed Jean Ann Duckworth. And this is A Life of Simple Joy, where for the 12 days before Christmas, well, my 12 shows before Christmas, I am focusing on the 12 simple joys of Christmas. So are you going crazy yet? Did you realize suddenly, like I did when I was standing in the kitchen staring at the little erasable calendar on the fridge, that Christmas is 4 weeks from, wait for it, yesterday, which means it is now a little less than 4 weeks away. Oh, calm down. It'll all work out. Everything always gets done. It's what I always tell myself. And I have come to the realization, although in moments of panic it just doesn't quite seep in, that what doesn't get done really isn't all that important to begin with. I may think it's important, but believe me, if it were really important, it would be accomplished. I would finish it. I would be able to do it. But, if I don't, then it couldn't have been all that important to me. Oh, sorry, needed a little shot of caffeine there because I need to be a little more wound up. Oh, my goodness. The 12 simple joys of Christmas. I came to the realization right after Thanksgiving that I had exactly 12 programs left. I'm stunned. Usually I would have thought of it, a couple days into it and then gone, darn, rats, too late. But I didn't. So I sat down and made out a list and checked it twice to decide what kind of topics I could do, a different topic every day during those 12 programs. Of course, being me, I started out with preparation because I always say work smarter, not harder. And that's exactly what I did. I talked to you about how to prepare for Christmas, and it's never too late. If you haven't listened before, you haven't listened to that program, you can still sit down and listen to it, and you can still do what I talked about in that program. I did a Twitter party last Friday with a large group of women. A lot of fun seeing all these different women who attended and sharing tips and ideas with them. And just the amount of stress we put ourselves under. And when I talked about, you can't just fly by the seat of your pants. You can't tell yourself, I'll remember everything, because it's hard enough remembering everything during the rest of the year. Christmas is, 100 times worse because everything else doesn't go on hold. Groceries don't magically appear in the refrigerator. Meals don't automatically cook themselves. The laundry, the clothes don't, just shed stains and clean themselves overnight. All that still has to be done, regardless of who's doing it. It still has to be done. And as such, we have those things and Christmas preparations, Christmas activities, all on top of it. You really have to have a handle. You don't have to become anal about it. Yes, I said it. Super controlling. It's not carved in granite, but if you make a list, if you make a calendar, spread activities out, Christmas shopping here, decorating here, do some baking here. Just plan things out. Excuse me. It makes it so much easier for you, and it relieves your stress. You're able to sit there, with your pieces of paper and look at them and see, here's what I still have to do. Here's what I still need to purchase. Here's what needs to be wet. Take care of things. It makes it so much easier. So preparation. Then I talked about shopping, because if you don't plan, if you don't sit down and work things out on paper and have a budget before you ever hit the mall, excuse me, you run the risk of spending so too much money. And debt is not necessarily one of the simple joys of, it's not at all one of the simple joys of Christmas. I don't think Christmas should be celebrated by plunging our family, by starting the new year out of everyone in town. It doesn't work for me. I hope that the economic situation, some of the things that have happened to all of us in the last few years, might help get us to rethink priorities and our approach to things. And I'm not going to lecture here, but, after the housing market went, whoa, I looked at Mr. Diva and I said, credit cards are going to be the next thing. There's going to be a lot of problems, and there have been. Things are loosening up now, and people are getting more credit cards, and without realizing the fact that credit card companies, banks are able to charge just astronomical interest rates on those cards. So be very wary. Plan things out. Use cash as much as possible. If you do need to use credit cards, work out a plan so you can get it paid off quickly. I'm talking within the first couple months, at least the first 6 months of the year. Do not let this go on and on. Enough of that. So shopping. Then I talked about Advent. I believe Advent and observing Advent, having some traditions, certain things you do every night in your home, lighting candles, having the wreath, opening the Advent calendar, reading scripture verses and talking about them, those kind of things. It is a wonderful transition from the chaos of the day and the outside world and into your home, where your family may find respite, may find peace, comfort, and joy. Oh, okay, I won't sing. I can't sing. I can. It's not pretty. My goodness. Especially when I'm coughing all the time. Advent it's a nice transition. It calms you down. I think it helps your family enjoy the season more. So that was last week. This week, yesterday I talked about decorating outside, which Mr. Diva did yesterday. Some of it, he's working on it again today. He follows the advice I gave to you. You don't have to kill yourself. It doesn't all have to be done at one time. What does have to be done is when you and your family are decorating the outside of house, do it in such a way that what you do at any one time is a complete project. So if that were all you were able to get done, it would still look fine. It's not like it's half the bushes on one side of the yard and nothing on the other side of your yard. You have to do it in such a way that, you never know what's going to come up. People get sick at the holidays, or the weather turns really nasty, or, you get really busy and just can't get back to it, then not to worry. What Mr. Diva did yesterday looks fine all by itself. If nothing else gets done, it'll be perfect. But he is planning on doing a couple more things today. Today on our program, I am talking about decorating inside the house. I'm going to post a video. It was an odd day, just one of those kind of days, a little stressful. A couple of incidents I'm not going to go into here. It doesn't matter. It's over and done with. But a couple of little incidents happened here, and it just kind of threw the whole day out of whack. So I have my recipes. They are on the blog already, but I still have to post everything on the website. The video that I am sharing on the website today is from a couple of years ago. I am going to go in and I'm going to go around the house and take more photos because I want you to see what I've done. And I'll talk about it today a little bit because it was much like when we had our kitchen painted and I knew I wanted to change things. I'll go into that. I'm not going to start now. So decorating inside the house. The inside of the house, the outside of the house is for the people who walk by to see it. I like the Christmas lights. A number of years ago, I wrote a book called God Didn't Send His Son to Cause Me Stress. It's a little fictional story, short story, talking about it's a woman who is really stressed out and she kind of comes to terms with what really needs to be done at Christmas. What Christmas is really all about. It's kind of that Linus and Charlie Brown sort of moment. And when I wrote the book, I wanted to come up with some iconic image for Christmas that whenever women would see it, they would remind themselves to take a breath because God didn't send his son to cause me stress. And the obvious choice was Christmas lights. Not only because, Jesus is the light of the world type of thing, but more importantly, although what's more important than that, more obviously, or more obvious to me at least, is Christmas lights are everywhere. Everywhere you turn, you see Christmas lights. So it would be a constant reminder to women that they need to de-stress, to calm down during the Christmas season. So Christmas lights outside are for the people who walk by your house, who drive by your house. It gives your family, when you come home from somewhere, it's so beautiful to see your house all lit up and decorated. Boy, Mr. Diva's out in the driveway. I think I told you, we live in a house with no insulation, so when somebody stands outside, you can hear it. I'm about to pound on the wall and tell them to pipe down. Hey, I'm working in here. So the decorations on the outside of the house work great for your family and for the people who walk by. But the inside is really for your family. I know you may be entertaining and have different people coming into your home over the holiday season, but you and your family are the ones who are going to be enjoying it the most, experiencing it the most. So you need to find ways to you want it to work for you. What I've done is I've taken the word decorate. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 letters and decorate. And assign a different word to each of the letters, and I'm going to talk about each of them. First, let me take a break here, and then I'll give you my first Christmas recipe of the day. And after that, we'll get started on decorating the inside of our house. I'm Jean Ann Duckworth, and this is A Life of Simple Joy. I'm back. Christmas recipes. Cookies again today, but these are 2 icebox cookies I have for you today, and something a little different. Sometimes I get, so many of the cookies are chocolate. And yes, I like chocolate, but chocolate doesn't always like me a whole lot. So I'm always looking, I actually prefer something other than chocolate. So the first one is a butterscotch icebox cookie, and I like butterscotch, so I thought this was good. 1 cup butter, 1 cup scotch. No, I'm sorry. Butterscotch icebox cookies, 1 cup of butter. And remember, if you do use true butter, you use the unsalted butter because you add salt to this? No, yes, you add salt to this. And if you use salted butter, it kind of throws it off. If you use margarine, as I often do, this time of the year, I know, people would argue, some chefs, they would be aghast for me to say this. However, I love the flavor of butter. But butter is, $2.50 or so a pound. Margarine right now, on a good week, you can get, 2 pounds for $1 or, 75 cents a pound or even $1 a pound. Even at $1 a pound, it's more than half off a pound of butter. I have a hard time justifying buying butter to put in cookies. So when I use margarine, I splurge and I buy butter flavoring, and I add a little bit of butter flavoring to my recipe. It gives it a richer flavor. Margarine doesn't always have that rich flavor. So 1 cup of butter or margarine, 2 cups of brown sugar. And remember, with brown sugar, you have to pack it down. It's not 2 loose cups. Pack it tight all the way to the top, and 2 cups that way. A pinch of salt, 2 eggs beaten. So crack 2 eggs in a separate bowl and whip them up. If you don't have a whisk, just use a fork. 2 teaspoons of vanilla. And what I do is I just take the vanilla and add it to the eggs and whip them up that way. 4 cups of flour. Wow, lots of flour. But then often with refrigerator cookies, it does take more flour. 1 teaspoon baking soda. And 1 cup nuts broken. I'm going back to check my recipe here. I just want to make sure it is indeed. Talk amongst yourselves while I look here in my notebook for my refrigerator cookies. Where is it? Where is it? Butterscotch, go back. There they are. Yeah, 4 cups of flour. Okay, it seemed like an awful lot. Anyway, 4 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon baking soda, and 1 cup of nuts broken. What do I mean by broken? It means you don't have to chop them. You don't have to put them in a processor and grind them up till they're itty bitty tiny. All I would do is take the package and just take a hammer. I use my meat tenderizer and just pound them a little bit until they're chunk size. You don't want them super big, but you don't want them real tiny. Measure a cup. All right. With your food processor, cream the butter, sugar, and salt. Add the egg and vanilla. Beat well. Then you're going to sift the flour and the baking soda in a separate bowl. Add gradually to the butter mixture. Mix well. Then add your nuts and stir them in thoroughly. You're going to roll this into, form it into a roll, just like the refrigerator cookies you buy at the grocery store. You want it to be a roll just like that. And then wrap the roll or two rolls, however, depending on how big they are. And the roll should be, I'm figuring, how big is that? Hang on, let me grab my ruler out of here. Here, and measure the top of this thing. Maybe about 2 inches across. And so roll it up and then wrap it up in wax paper. Wax paper, yes, it has to be. If not wax paper, then the parchment paper you cook on, not plastic wrap. It'll be a mess. It has to be wax paper. And I just roll it up in it and then twist the ends. Put it in the refrigerator and let it chill overnight. When you're ready to cook, you're going to preheat your oven to 400 degrees. Slice these cookies very thin and bake them in the oven about 10 minutes. Why do we say about or 10 to 12 minutes? How do you know? Always set your timer to the low end and then keep checking. So if it says about 10 minutes, set your timer to about 8-9 minutes and check to see. You're going to look for the brown around the edges and just take it from there. I don't use nuts when I make this. I just make it, plain. And I like these cookies. They're very, very good. It's just kind of a nice change of pace from the chocolate chip and all of that. But what I like about icebox cookies is, again, I'll talk about this with baking, but I have a system when I'm doing a lot of baking. I can make these while something's in the oven. It doesn't take real long. Form it up and put it in the refrigerator, and then I just do them the next day. And because they bake at such a high temperature, remember, you always want to do high temperature first, and then you can lower your oven and let it cool a bit while you're mixing up the batch. A lot of cookies are 350. While you mix up, the oven can be cooling a little bit, so it'll be all ready when you put your 350 degree cookies in the oven. All right, let me take a breath here, and then I'll talk about decorating your house. Alrighty, time to decorate. Decorate. D is for decide. Maybe you've done things the same way year after year. I personally, I was ready to change things up a little bit. A number of years ago, if you've never seen my photo, I have pink hair, and I like pink. But I like my pink hair. I wouldn't change my pink hair, but I'm getting a little tired of all the pink. I don't know. I just got kind of tired of it. A number of years ago, I bought all these ornaments, and our tree had a lot of pink on it. I was tired of it. So when I got the decorations out, I decided enough of this, and all those got donated to one of the thrift stores. I still had plenty of decorations. I had a number of red decorations and older ornaments. I have beautiful old ornaments that came over with my great my great-grandparents, great-grandparents from Germany, some wax ornaments that are just absolutely beautiful. But I decided I wanted to make some changes. You need to decide what kind of look you're going for. And it doesn't have to be elaborate. Let me tell you a little bit about the kitchen, and then you'll understand how I arrived at what I was doing. We had our kitchen painted this summer. Because our house is older, we have at least 10-foot ceilings in our house. And we used to have this wallpaper, this rather unusual wallpaper in our kitchen. The wallpaper was taken off and the entire kitchen was painted white. Wow, that's just a lot of white in the kitchen. A whole lot of white in the kitchen. It's really nice and it gave me a clean palette, but I was a little overwhelmed. And I knew I wanted to do some different things, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. But one thing I did know, I knew for a fact I wanted to make new curtains for the kitchen. So I went to the fabric store and started looking around, and not knowing what I wanted, I had looked online, because if you go to, I shop at Joann's. If you go to Joann's website, they have the fabrics. And I thought I had decided what I wanted, but when I got there and I started looking at them, they were just, the colors I'd picked out were too washed out, just too watered down, too light. And the kitchen would just be too faded looking. I didn't like it at all. And suddenly I saw a fabric that is a kind of a cream and black check, big checks, like a checkered flag for racing kind of check, that size check. Not little bitty checkerboard, like a checkerboard, kind of that size. And in the middle of the black were red cherries. I fell in love with it and started realizing that in this white kitchen with this light yellow floor, how beautiful black and red would look against this white palette. So I bought the fabric and made the curtains, and then I used that as my jumping off point for decorating the kitchen. I'm not going to talk about decorating the kitchen right now. But it was the same thing with Christmas. I had thought I was going to go in one direction. I was going to do snowmen. And I kind of got fixated on adding, doing silver and blue and white, which meant I was going to have to buy a whole lot of new stuff, and didn't really want to do that, which I'll talk about in a minute. And then a thought occurred to me. I went in a whole different direction. I let something else inspire me. I guess I can tell you here, and then when I get to see and talk about creativity, I can go into more detail. In the kitchen, years ago I had bought these really nice frames. They were on sale. They were just an incredible price, and I knew I'd use them for something. And they had the mats in them, so I really liked them. And I just stuck them away. I never used them. Well, I took them out and I spray painted all of them red. And I have a cookbook from 1929 that came with my grandmother's first electric refrigerator. I love this cookbook. It's just fabulous because the cookbook it teaches women how to do things like, make ice. The refrigerator had a small freezer section in it, and women were able to actually freeze food. Food could keep longer. With ice boxes, you couldn't, an old ice box where a chunk of a block of ice went in it, you couldn't keep food real long in there. It would spoil too fast. But suddenly, this thing was temperature controlled, and you could do a lot more with it. Well, this cookbook has these marvelous photos in it from the 1920s. So I took them and I scanned them and printed them out and put them in these frames. and I have them around my kitchen. We're getting ready to hang them on the wall, but for right now, they're on the shelf that's way up over my sink. All of a sudden, this idea occurred to me. I had gone, if you go type in Microsoft and clip art, if you Google it, and then click on the link, Microsoft has all this clip art that you can download. And part of the clip art they have are these wonderful vintage kind of turn of the last century Santa pictures. So I looked at those and I realized, I really like these. And I think I'm going to print these out, and I can take the kitchen photos, the cookbook photos out of those frames for Christmas, and I can put these Santa pictures in there instead, and just go with that. And I'll tell you more what all I did, but suddenly those pictures set the theme of a vintage Christmas. I like saying vintage Christmas because I like mid-century, but some of the stuff I have is older than that. So it's an eclectic mixture of older things that I can use to decorate my house, and it worked out really well. I'll talk more about those photos when I get to see and how you can do the same sort of thing. But look at something, maybe there's some kind of piece of decoration that you really like, and you can use that as your theme to kind of tie things together in your house as far as how you decorate. Do you have to have a theme? No. What you have to have is what works for you. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you, well, you have to go with a color scheme and do this and that. There, that's better. All over the microphone. Jeez. No, you don't have to have a color scheme. You don't have to have a theme. You have to do what works well for you. I like themes. I like a little bit of a color scheme because I just find it more relaxing. Everything just kind of flows together rather than anything just popping out and being rather jarring. Decorate, decide. Decide the kind of look you're going for. Decide if you need any new items. Decide if you want to replace anything. There. All right. Sometimes if I don't answer my messages right away or check them, it keeps bugging me. Decide how you're going to approach this. D. E. E is for economy. You don't have to go out and spend a fortune on brand new items. I'm tired of this stuff. I want to do something new, and so I'm going to throw out all the old ornaments and get new ornaments and go from there. Holy cow, what are you, crazy? What's the matter with you? Don't do that. Find economical ways to add to your Christmas decorations to achieve the look you want. One way you can do it for the time being is if you decide, I want more red ornaments or gold ornaments, go to the Dollar Tree. Are they the greatest ornaments in the world? No, but they have these huge tubes or huge collections in various sizes of just the Christmas ball ornaments in different colors. Some of them are sparkly, some of them are matte, some of them are just shiny. They had some the other day where it was like red and gold together and red and green together and silver and gold. I'm not going to sing. I watched Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer last night too. So you can get some of those, and it fills in. It'll allow you to add extra ornaments, extra decorations to your tree, to your house, without having to spend a lot of money. And over the years, if they start looking a little shabby because they are just from the dollar store, you can start buying some other ones. At the end of this season, you can go to the store and start buying some. Or one of the things I find, I know people complain about this, but if you get a little closer to Christmas, a lot of the stores are going to start marking down their holiday decorations because they want to try and get as much money as they can for them before Christmas is over. Just watch for that. If there's something you really like, but you can wait for it, then keep checking back and seeing if it gets marked down, and you can then try and pick it up for a much lower price than you would otherwise. Check the thrift stores. You have to do it quickly, because things sell out rapidly. The one thrift store we go to, the Assistance League, down on the plaza here in Old Town Orange, they had a whole bunch of Christmas stuff that they put out, and it went right away. But they keep bringing out some new stuff every week, so I keep going back and looking to see if I see something, a little piece of something that I really like and I want to pick up. But so you can go to the thrift stores, Big Lots. They have a lot of decorations. I've bought a number of things there over the years. Michael's is very good for specialty type ornaments. If you go to the dollar store and the Big Lots and get some of those basic ornaments, big boxes where it's 2 dozen glass ball ornaments, you can pick those up. And then Michael's has the boxes of 4, 6, maybe 8, where they're different colors. It might be a red and green together, and it might have a little glitter on it, and so you can pick those up, a box or so of those to just add a little extra to your tree. So find ways to accomplish the look you want while being economical. The tree skirt I have is pink and red, so I'm really not into that right now. However, I have this beautiful old Pendleton shawl that is red and green. I just take it and put it around the bottom of the tree, and it's the colors I want because it's a more traditional look. You can go to the fabric store and buy a yard of fabric, and you don't have to cut it out or anything. You just wrap it around the tree, the foot of the tree, and pretty soon you're going to be putting presents under there anyway, so it doesn't matter. All sorts of economical things for your table. I think I'll talk about this in creativity. Let me take a bit of a break here, and I will be right back. I'm Jean Ann Duckworth. This is A Life of Simple Joy, and we are celebrating the 12 Simple Joys of Christmas. See, I know you get tired of listening to me, so I take little breaks once in a while. All right. We're decorating the inside of our house. D is for decide. Decide on the look you want. E is for economize. Find ways to accomplish it without spending a lot of money. C is your best tool when decorating your house. That's creativity. Just, be creative. Spend time instead of money. Spend time coming up with ways to accomplish some of the things you want to do without having to spend a lot of money. Let me get back to those pictures I was talking about. So I had these frames that I had painted red, and during the year they have pictures from a vintage 1929 cookbook in them. And at Christmas, I took some Santa Claus clip art and I printed those out, and I put those in there and scattered them around the house. But in addition to that, I had been to Big Lots and Joann's and bought some stickers. I found them at Big Lots. They were cleaning out, getting rid of their scrapbooking stuff, which about broke my heart. And at Joann's, these were in the discount bin. I think they're $1 a package. And they were puffy stickers and regular stickers. So I took some of them and I stuck them on the frame, just in the corners, just to add a little extra Christmas touch. They easily come off after Christmas. If by some chance they pull off some of the paint, no problem. I still have more spray paint. I can just spray them. That's easy enough. So I had my Santa Claus pictures, and I've scattered them in different places around the house. I have one on the bookshelf near the Christmas tree, and I have one on the bar, and one on the one chest in the kitchen, and 4 of them up high on the shelf above the sink in the kitchen. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 8. Where would I put the? Oh, and I have another dresser in the living room where I have cookies and things. I have one there as well. So that was one thing I did. Another way to be creative is you don't have to go out and spend a fortune on tablecloths or table decorations, anything like that. Go to the fabric store and look for cute fabric that goes along with your theme, and you can buy a yard of it, 2 yards, and you can use that for your table covering or as a runner, or just a little centerpiece just to add a little Christmas touch to your table. You can cut it up into pieces and use it instead of placemats for the bar. I mean, can put it down there and let it add some extra color to the bar for Christmas. You say you don't sew. Not a problem. They make this great stuff. It's called Stitch Witchery. And you iron it. It's about a half inch or so wide. And all you have to do is fold over the edge of the material and iron it down, and then you stick the Stitch Witchery in and follow the instructions, and it's perfect. You're set for Christmas. For the bar, what I'm going to do is I have these rattan trays I brought back from Taiwan when I lived there, and one of them they have an edge on them. Part of it had gotten broken, so I broke it off and just kept the bottom of the tray, and I used that on the bar. I'm going to take that and put fabric on it and just tape it down for Christmas and use that on the bar to color to it. So, fabric. Go out and buy pieces of fabric, small pieces of fabric. If they've taken Christmas fabric and made what they call fat quarters, which you use when you quilt, buy some of those and just find different ways to use it around your house. You can put it on over pillows. There's all sorts of things you can do to add some Christmas color, Christmas cheer throughout your house. Another thing I'm going to do to add to the vintage Christmas look throughout my house is Katie and I went to the Orange County Marketplace on Saturday. This is a huge, huge swap meet that is in the parking lot of the fairgrounds here in Orange County. Every Saturday and Sunday, we went there on Saturday. And while we were on our way home and stopping doing errands, we stopped and ate lunch at a fast food place. They had taken the pictures, the large poster-type pictures in the store, as a lot of stores do this time of year, a lot of restaurants do. And they wrapped them in Christmas paper, and you put bows on it like it's a Christmas present. Well, I started looking at that, and I thought, I could do that in my house. I can go to the dollar store and just find, paper that looks really vintagey, or look and see what I already have, and wrap different pictures in my home, throughout my home, and it's perfect for Christmas. So that's one of the things I'm going to be doing this week. Another thing I use a lot of, as I mentioned yesterday, we have just tons and tons of Christmas lights. So I use a lot of Christmas lights throughout our house. We have this shelf. Our living room, dining room's one room, but there's the ceiling. There's a part of the ceiling that kind of drops down. I don't know what you want to call that. I can't think, but it's a little lower there. And on the dining room side, there's a shelf there, and that's where I have all my silver. I took Christmas lights and I put them on the shelf, just kind of draped them haphazardly, and then I have this silver garland that has multiple colors in it, and I draped it over all this silver. And the lights and the garland and the silver, it's very pretty. I did lights around my built-in china cabinet, and I've done lights in the kitchen. They go across the shelf up on top around the Santa lights, and they just, in some places, they just kind of drape over the, not Santa lights, the Santa pictures, drape over the Santa pictures. And then I ran them around the wall and then over to my bookshelves where they also drape. So I've got all kinds of lights. I'm going to do more lights in the bathroom and some here in the bedroom because I like the Christmas lights. I think they're very pretty. And it's an inexpensive way to add holiday cheer everywhere in your home. Another thing I did, I'd gone to Dollar Tree and bought the small, like the votive holders. They're about, I'm looking, maybe 3 inches tall. And what I have done is I put stickers on them. I saw this, it was a Better Homes tip, I think. I think that's where I saw it. Just I had all these stickers, so I put little stickers on them, and then I have another candle holder. The one candle holder is meant to hold like a small, very small pillar. I put a votive holder inside of it, and I have a battery-operated votive in there. And it just, I have those scattered throughout the house. It's just a really simple but cute touch. And I'm putting stickers on my larger candle holder, and then I can put my my silver beads inside with a pillar candle inside of there. So be creative. Go to the dollar store and see what they have there, and the glassware in the candles, and see what you can do to add color, to add light, to add Christmas cheer throughout your entire home. Creativity is the best tool you can use, and your creativity will help you economize. Spend a little time thinking and being creative about it, and you'll save a lot of money in the long run. So, let's see. Of course, is for others. Get help. Talk to friends. See what it is they're doing. Go to Pinterest and look at some of the things people are posting there. One of Mr. Diva's cousins was talking on Facebook about making snow globes. Now, not the shaker kind of snow globe. It doesn't have the glycerin in it. But these are really cute, and she posted it on Pinterest, and I was able to find it. You take a jar, or you can take some of these glass pieces you find at the dollar store. Let me tell you how this would be really cute. Get the glass pieces at the dollar store, and then at Dollar Tree they have this Christmas Village collection, and you can get small buildings and people and little trees. You take a napkin, just a little cloth or paper napkin, one of the nicer ones where it's smooth, and roll one napkin up, or a couple of pieces of paper towel, a piece of paper towel, kind of fold it and put the nice napkin around it, and you put it on the lid of the jar. Then take your little piece, or if you're doing a jar, or if you're doing one of these figures, one of the, like a candle holder, a big one, you put that on them. Then you sprinkle some Epsom salts around it to make it look like snow, or you can use the little, fake snow or the glitter. Then create a little Christmas scene in there, and it's like a little snow globe. If you do it in a jar, you can do it in the lid. Somebody saw these at Apothecary. You do it in the lid with the napkin, and I'm not explaining this well at all. I'll find the link, and I'll post it on the blog so you can find it. You take the lid and you fold up this napkin, and you sprinkle a little Epsom salt in the lid, and then put little bitty Christmas trees or maybe a couple little bitty people with it, and then you take the jar and carefully screw the lid back on, and you've created this cute little snow globe type winter scene. And because they cost so little, you can do these throughout your house. They're super cute. I was just blown away, and Tammy's done these in all kinds of different sizes, from small jars to great big glass pieces that she has bought, and they're really cute. So you can get ideas from all kinds of other people. I get emails every day. I signed up to get emails from Better Homes and Garden, and they have tons of ideas that they will send you. I use a lot of those things on the blog. It saves you from having to search for it. It's just right there. You can talk to your friends and get ideas from them. You can go to Michael's and talk to the person if you want to do a centerpiece and you're not sure how. Talk to the person who does theirs and get a few tips from them. Even if you go to a florist, if you're buying some things from them, they should offer you a little advice. They might not sit down and offer you an entire class, but they should be decent enough to give you some advice on how to do it. You can also find videos. Better Homes has all kinds of videos showing you how to put together floral arrangements and centerpieces and wreaths. So there's all sorts of information you can get from other people, whether it's family and friends or experts who can advise you on how to do things. And just like the commercial says, never discount the advice of the people at Home Depot, Lowe's. Even more so, I go to Ace all the time. When you're talking to them about how to use certain things, or here's what I'd like to accomplish, how can I do this? They can help you. They can give you lots of ideas and guidance on how to accomplish these things. So, rely on some of the experts out there and turn to them for advice. Let me take a little break. Then I have another recipe for you and a few more tips. All right, another recipe. Again, it's an icebox recipe. I liked this one. It is oatmeal Krispies, and I had never seen an oatmeal cookie that was a slice and bake recipe. So, and it also has chocolate chips in it. So, how could I not like it? You take 1 cup of margarine, 1 cup firmly packed brown sugar, 1 cup of granulated sugar. No, this doesn't have any calories in it. Why do you ask? 2 eggs well beaten, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, 1 1/2 cups of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 cups of quick cooking oatmeal. And you want the quick cook because it's chopped up finer. The slow cooking way to cook it the full time oatmeal tends to be the bigger pieces. And if you already have oatmeal and it is the regular oatmeal, just stick it in a food processor and grind it just a little bit, and it'll be fine. What in the world did I do here? Oh, I see. It's 1/2 to 1 cup of chopped nuts. So it just depends on how many nuts you want in there. And a 6-ounce package of chocolate chips. Thoroughly cream the shortening, the margarine, and the sugars together. Food processor, and you're set. You want to, in a separate bowl, crack the eggs, whisk them together. I go ahead and put the vanilla in it and whisk that, and add the eggs and vanilla to the margarine and the sugars. Hang on, look at this recipe. I want to change this. Oop. Margarine. Here. Add it to the margarine and sugar mixture and let the food processor rip. Then you're going to sift the flour. Good heavens, I forgot the L in flour. The flour, the salt, and the baking soda together, and gradually add this to the liquid mixture. Mix it well. Then add the oatmeal. And you can do this in the food processor, but after that, you need to dump this into another bowl and add the nuts and the chocolate chips. You can't let that fly in the food processor, or the chocolate chips are just going to get mushed. So do these separately. Put it in a different bowl and mix it up. Then you're going to shape the cookies into rolls just like before, just like the refrigerator cookies you buy in the store. Wrap them up in wax paper and chill overnight. The next day, when you're ready to bake, preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Slice the cookies 1/4 of an inch thick. Put them on parchment paper on your cookie sheet and bake in your 350-degree oven for 10 to 12 minutes. Take them out of the oven and let them cool. What I usually do is I slide the parchment paper off the cookie sheet because you don't want to leave them on the cookie sheet. The bottoms will keep baking. So you slide it off. I leave it on. I have it on a cooling rack, the parchment paper. After a minute, I give the cookies a minute. Gives it time enough to cool so that they form up better, and I can give cookies a quick spin to kind of loosen them a little bit. But I leave them alone, and then after they've cooled, while the batch is in the oven, after about 5 minutes or so, I take them off the parchment paper and put them on a plate or in the tin, and I'm ready. And these cookies can be frozen, so that makes it great. You can make them ahead of time. If you're afraid of your family eating too many of them, you can freeze them, and they will be just dandy. All right, so we are decorating the inside of our house. You need to decide what kind of look you're going for. You need to find economical ways to be able to accomplish it. One of the ways to be economical is to be creative. I actually find the more creative you are, the more money you save. Let's face it, anybody can throw money at something. If money is no object, you could have some kind of designer come in and decorate your house for you, and it'll be ready for house beautiful. But if you have to watch your money, then you need to be more creative. And the more creative you are, the more money you're going to save, because you're going to find just fabulous ways to accomplish the things you want to do. And while we're talking about economy, never forget nature. I go out and I find great big pine cones, and I use those to decorate. You can, find flowers, fresh pine. There's all sorts of things you can do. Find out in nature and use to be able to decorate inside your home. Boy, if you're lucky enough to live somewhere where holly grows, you're set, boy. You are just absolutely set. And my understanding is holly may take a while to kind of take root and take off, but once it does, wow, it goes kind of crazy. So you really do want to clip it back and use as much of it as possible. So use what's available to you to be able to decorate. So economy, creativity, others, talk to friends, talk to your family, see what kind of ideas they have, talk to some of the experts and get ideas from them. R is for research. You knew you weren't going to get away from doing your homework. Go online and do some research. Look at some of the different photos online. Go to Pinterest and, do a search for Christmas and decorations and see what kind of photos people have put up. You might not be able to replicate it, but you can get ideas from it. We had a new store open here on the plaza in Old Town that does, it's for home decor, vintage, and right now it's all decorated for Christmas. What's really cool, I hadn't even realized it was separate booths, that it was different people in each section, because it just flowed so well together that I thought it was, the people who owned it had all this all these products, and it isn't what they have. So it was just absolutely wonderful. We went in there the other day and we're looking around, and one of the things I saw is somebody had taken ornaments and strung a ribbon through it and hung it up from a shelf or from I can't remember exactly how they did it, at different heights. And I looked at that and I looked at Mr. Diva and I said, I can do that in the kitchen with the shelf over the sink. And I'm getting ready to do it this week. But sure enough, a number of years ago, Katie, our daughter, her favorite colors were a really deep, deep red and black. So I had a little Christmas tree, and I put lights on it and decorated it with the black and red ornaments for her room. I still have those, so now I'm getting ready to use them, because black and red's what I use in the kitchen, to hang from the shelf in the kitchen. And then I didn't even mention this. I have 2 cut glass bowls on the shelf. I'm going to take the rest of the ornaments and put them in the bowls with the lights and the beads and different things on them, and put those up there on that shelf. So you can do ornaments if you have bowls, use that around your house with ornaments in them. Another thing about creativity that I failed to mention is in our living room and dining room, we have, because our house, the rooms tend to be small, I have one dresser that has my sweaters and fabric in it in the living room, and the other one has like my T-shirts and things like that. On the T-shirt one, that's our bar. We use it as a bar on top. And the other one, at this time of year, it's where I put the Christmas cookies and fudge and all that sort of stuff is setting out for us to be able to snack on throughout the holiday season. So you can use food as decorating. If you're afraid of your kids eating things, and, figure something out. But there are ways you can use food to decorate. So do your research. Go along to the stores and look at some of their decorations. Go to Michael's. Some of these other stores, are a number of stores out here that are floral, or I don't know what I want to call them, but think of Michael's, but on a huge scale, where professionals might go to be able to buy their decorations, or stores will go to, retailers will go to get the bigger kind of decorations. You can go to some of these places and look around and get ideas on how to decorate your home for the holiday season. So, and online. Look at things online. Use it as a jumping off point so that, I never thought of that. Last night I went for a walk, and one of the houses down the street, over their garage, they have an apartment. And the apartment has this great big bay window that looks out on the street. The person who lives there had put their Christmas tree in that window. And in the window seat, they had these vintage Santa Claus figures. It's absolutely beautiful. I really like the look that they accomplished there. So, look around, do your research, and get lots of ideas of things to do for Christmas. A is for attitude. You have to go into this with the right kind of attitude. If you can't, you look at these things, you do the research, and you look at these things on like Better Homes, and the trees and the houses they're showing, and you look at that and you think, oh, I can't do that, and this just stinks, and I guess I just have to settle for what. It's not going to turn out nice, and you're not going to be able to enjoy it. You have to have a positive attitude. Make it work. Find ways to make it work for you. Have fun doing it. Involve your family. Do it throughout the house so that there are little touches of Christmas in a variety of places. It doesn't have to look like Christmas got sick on your house. There was a house in the neighborhood a few blocks from us. And the people who used to live there would decorate for every holiday. I'm talking Valentine's Day, Easter, everything. And in their yard, on the grass, they would put just a ton of decorations. And Katie and her friends always referred to it as the house that whatever holiday it was threw up on. These kids didn't think it looked like it was decorated as much as it was overwhelmed, or better still, it was invaded by whatever holiday it was. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to do a lot of stuff. You don't have to overwhelm your house or your family. You want to create a place where at the end of the day, when you and your family come home, you can relax, and you should be able to sit on your couch and look at the way your house is decorated and smile because you enjoy it so much. It should bring you a sense of joy and a childlike thrill to see how beautiful your house is and how much you enjoy it. So yes, your attitude is absolutely everything when it comes to how you approach this, and it needs to be a positive one. If you can't afford to go out and buy all the wonderful things you think you deserve, then find a way to do it without having to spend the money, or at least not having to spend a lot of money. T, wow, T in decorate is for time. It doesn't take a whole lot of time for you to do this. You don't have to kill yourself. As I said, I spent the last weekend decorating. I did a few things as I went along, and then I worked on a few more things, and I'd sit down and, I'm a big football fan. I'm watching football, and as I'm watching it, other things are occurring to me, so I'd get up and work on those. And this week I'm doing a few more things along, and you don't have to do everything at once. And one of the advantages to not doing it all at once, besides the fact that you don't wear yourself out, is that you can stand back and look at it and ask yourself, what more does it need? What more can I do? You can add little touches here and there. If you try and do everything all at once, you stand back and it kind of has this hodgepodge sort of thing. When I was doing our tree, I had the lights, I had it up, and I started putting ornaments on it, and then I'd let it be for a while, and I'd look at it, and I'd figure out, okay, it needs a little something here, or it needs a little something there. And I'd shift things around, or I'd add a couple more ornaments to it, and just kind of do it a little bit over time so that it all kind of came together nicely without wearing myself out. And it wasn't just thrown together. I'd filled in all the holes. I'd like to think I did a really nice job of it. And from time to time, I'll be sitting there and I'll look and I'll realize, oh, there's kind of a hole there. And I get up and I shift something. And speaking of holes, and here's a little simple tip. One of the things I do, I don't use tinsel on my tree. I don't use garland on the tree. But years ago, I bought these snowflakes, these big, some of them are fairly big, about the size of a dessert plate. And some of them are smaller snowflakes. The smaller ones had like fish line, so you could hang them up. I took all that off, and where there are holes, I stick snowflakes, so it looks like these snowflakes are falling down through the tree. They reflect the light. They fill in any bare spots. I like my snowflakes. Another thing you can use is I used to buy, I don't know what you call them, but it's like these thin sticks, and they kind of curl on top. They have they're painted different colors, and they have glitter on them. And I would take those and stick these little spirals. You can get them at Michael's. Stick them in my tree. Or you can buy poinsettias, artificial ones, different colors, and stick them in the holes, different spots in your tree. There's all sorts of ways you can add more color and more interest, more depth to your tree without just ornaments. And using some of these different things, it reflects the light, and it's really pretty. Yes. What other simple tips did I have? Yeah, you need to make it relaxing. Make sure the way you decorate your home is relaxing for you. It shouldn't be so chaotic, so crazy, so busy that you have a hard time sitting still. Think of some of the Christmas stores you go into, and some of them just have so much going on. There's a lot of music, and it's very loud, and they maybe have trains, or some of the decorations move. It can be overwhelming. It shouldn't be overwhelming. You should be able to sit there and relax and enjoy it without it making you feel twitchy. So attitude, keep a positive attitude. Time, you can do it over a long period of time. It doesn't all have to be done at once. Even right up to the last minute, you can still be adding things, especially if you're out and about and you see that one of the store, Target or whoever, Michael's, has marked something down that you really wanted. Pick it up and incorporate it into your decorations this year. There's all kinds of things you can do to be able to add some simple touches, and it stops it from getting boring, old. It keeps it interesting and keeps you. And that leads me to E, which is joy, which was for both yesterday and today. When it all gets down to it, you need to be able to enjoy it. It can't have been so much work, such an ordeal, that you can't relax and enjoy it. And I'm not going to say how much is too much. I've had a friend, I haven't seen him in a number of years, Larry Davis, was a neighbor and a good friend, and his entire garage, people out here, most houses in Southern California do not have basements, so people tend to use their garages for storage rather than for parking their cars. His garage was filled with his Christmas decorations, and when you walked into his home, it was it looked like a Christmas museum, but it was beautiful, absolutely beautiful. If you wanted ideas on how to decorate, his house was the one to go to, because you'd see all sorts of things, and every year he'd go out and find some new things. He had multiple trees, multiple decorations, big decorations, like full-size, toy soldier type things. For me to have done that would have been an ordeal. Not only an ordeal, but I would have spent the entire Christmas season thinking, dear Lord, eventually I have to take all this stuff down. And I would have been miserable. But for him, it was a joy. He loved doing it. He loved having people into his home to see it. So I can't sit there and say, oh, he shouldn't have done that. No, his gift to himself was decorating his home every year. I have another friend, Kim, that has multiple, I don't even know how many, at least a dozen Christmas trees in her house. And for me, it would, the expense would be overwhelming, and I would be overwhelmed putting them up and then the thought of having to take them down. But she absolutely loves it. Christmas means a lot to her. She has a nonprofit she operates, Christmas 365, where she keeps, like Scrooge, the spirit of Christmas in her heart throughout the year, helping other people. She will adopt families through the year, and she not only makes sure they have a nice Christmas, but birthdays, Easter, Valentine's, she does things for them throughout the year. And she puts up all these trees. For her, it is a joy to have these Christmas trees. So you have to decide for yourself. Don't let other people dictate. If you're willing to do the work, then put up what it is you want. It shouldn't really be to the point where it disturbs your family. Larry's wife, Linda, enjoys all the Christmas decoration. Kim's husband, Larry, different Larry, he enjoys all the Christmas tree, and he enjoys the incredible amount of joy that the trees bring to Kim. So you have to strike a balance so that your family is not walking around going, good heavens, this is just too much. I try to do that. Mr. Diva doesn't like a lot of clutter, and he doesn't like a lot of knickknacks around. So I try and find things, ways to decorate that don't do that. It's why I incorporate what I already have out, and like the cut glass bowls and the candle holders. I use those things and find ways to turn them for Christmas. We're almost out of time. I really did it. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about homemade gifts. Just give you some ideas. If you have an idea for homemade gifts, different things that you do, email me. If you have a recipe you want me to share on the blog, be sure to send it to me. I have been receiving some different things from people, so I'm going to start sharing them on the blog with all of you so you can see them. All week, today through Friday, it started on Monday, go to Amazon, to the Kindle store, and type in The Simple Joy of Christmas. It is a digital book, and it is a free download all week. So you can download that and get the information. The Advent book material is in the Christmas book. I did the Advent book last week. The Advent book, if that's all you want, it is still available in the Kindle store. It is $2. So just type in The Simple Joy of Advent, and it comes up, and you can download it. You don't need a Kindle device in order to download books from the Kindle store. All you need is a free Kindle app, and you can do it on your computer or your smartphone. I like doing that because then I can show the books to different people. So it makes it a lot of fun. I have an article here. Hey, I don't want the advertisement there. Get rid of that. An article here, Midland Daily News. Where is this Midland? Let me see. Usually somewhere. There we go. Midland, Michigan. Midland Daily News. This is an article by, who's it by? Come on. Melinda Myers. Extend the life of your holiday trees and plants. Enhance indoor decor and reduce stress this holiday season. Gardening expert Melinda Myers shares 5 easy steps. So, what does it say here? The holidays can be a wonderful yet stressful time. Tell me about it. Reduce stress and enhance your family's enjoyment this season by increasing the benefits of holiday decor with a few shortcuts. Number 1, keep Christmas trees looking their best by keeping tree stands filled with water. Make this a daily chore for someone trying to stay on Santa's nice list. Yes, they used to be one of my chores when I was a kid. Don't worry if good help is hard to find. Purchase or make a self-watering device. Oh, clever. Let's see. Use a decorative tin or plastic bucket set in a box and wrap to hide its presence. Fill it with water and run a piece of plastic tubing from the bucket to the tree stand. Clever. Weigh each end of the tubing so it stays in the bottom of the reservoir. Test before leaving town to make sure it's in working order. Yeah, you don't want to come home and find water all over the place or your tree dead because in the bucket it's still filled with water. Number 2, add some holiday plants this year. Many studies have shown that indoor plants can boost mood levels, reduce fatigue, and even lower stress. Plus, it's easy to extend the life of holiday plants. Place them in a cool, bright location away from drafts of hot or cold air. Water thoroughly and often enough to keep the soil moist. Pour off any excess water that collects in the saucer, basket, or foil wrap to prevent root rot. Save time and improve a plant's growing conditions by placing pebbles in the base of the saucer or foil to elevate the plant above the excess water. As the water evaporates, it increases the humidity around the plant. And that helps because it puts humidity in your house. And if you're worried about poinsettias with small kids and pets, you can do Christmas cactuses, all sorts of things. It doesn't have to be a poinsettia. Number 3, use nature-inspired decorations to provide enjoyment throughout the holiday season and beyond. Colorful stems, white painted allium seed heads, and wooden stars can add beauty throughout the holidays and much of the year. Red wood wreaths are festive enough for the holiday and timeless enough to leave hanging on a wall year-round. That was one of the things I forgot to tell you about. If you have old cookie cutters that you're not using anymore, or go to the thrift store, dollar store, find cookie cutters, a collection of them really inexpensive, you can glue them together and make a wreath and then spray paint them red, put a nice big bow on them, and put them up in your kitchen. It makes a great Christmas decoration that's food-themed. And you can leave that up because it's, cookie cutters. It's cute. Luminaries can be used to light the entrance to a home or path to an outdoor living space during warmer months. Use a few roosting pocket bird houses to decorate trees and greenery, then move them outside for the birds. These decorations can provide beauty and enjoyment way beyond the holiday season. Number 4, spruce up indoor plants with a few holiday flowers, spangles, and lights. Place a few cut flowers in floral picks filled with water. Those are their little, it looks almost like test tubes, and it's pointy on the end, and they've got rubber caps on them. You can go to a floral supply place or go online and order them. And you put water in them, and then you stick fresh flowers in them, and because they're pointy, you can stick them inside plants. Place these in house plants for seasonal color, or add one of the miniature poinsettias, I've never heard this, calanchos, or supplement to a large planter. Simply sink the flowering plant, pot and all, into a houseplant container. Replace the small flowering plants as they fade or the seasons change. Add colorful stems, ribbons, and winter branch lights to house plants and planters for a bit of seasonal sparkle. There's something on the blog I took from Better Homes talking about this, where if you have a window box, put some greenery in it and some seasonal plants in it, and then put lights in it. It's very, very pretty. And number 5, increase value and extend enjoyment with gifts that give twice. A tabletop spruce tree, perfect for any size home, can add greenery and fragrance long past the holidays. And once the weather is suitable for planting, move into the garden. Better still, go somewhere and find a rosemary plant. Rosemary is very woody, and you can find small ones that have been trimmed into kind of a Christmas tree shape and some decorations put on it. It makes a very fragrant decoration in your kitchen, and then it can be moved outside and planted in your garden when warmer weather comes. And you can be clipping off of it all year during the winter and using the rosemary to cook with. It's really good. I like it in soups. I'll put a little bit of it inside my chickens when I roast chicken, all sorts of things. So, decorating inside. Decide what you're looking for. Find ways to economize to accomplish the look you want economically. Be creative. You don't have to spend a fortune accomplishing what you want. Use creativity rather than throwing money at it. Rely on the advice and ideas of others. Just, look around, talk to them at the hardware store, at the florist shop, the floral supply place, and get some ideas from them. Do your research, go into different stores, go online and see what kind of looks they have. Approach it with the right attitude. Negative attitude will not help. If you can't spend the kind of money you want to accomplish the look you want, then you have to be creative. And believe me, you will be more proud of what you accomplish with your brain power than with your wallet. Anybody can throw money at something and get a look, but it ends up being terribly impersonal, and you're better than that. Time it. You don't have to do it all at once. You can do it throughout the holiday season, adding little touches here and there as the mood strikes you. And finally, enjoy it. You want something you and your family can sit back and relax and enjoy. I'm out of time for today. More importantly, I'm out of information. So I'm going to let Mr. Diva take us out here. I am Jean Ann Duckworth, and I am wishing you, this thing is counting, but it's not playing. No. There it goes. I am Jean Ann Duckworth, and I'm wishing you a life and holiday filled.
Thank you for joining us for A Life of Simple Joy. Life of Simple Joy is brought to you by Devotions to Go. Small enough to fit in your hand, powerful enough to fill you with the Word of God each day. Life of Simple Joy is a production of C Media. And thank you for listening.
You can join me tomorrow on Talk About Home. Yes. See you then.